Hey everyone, just want to talk about design language quickly and shape dynamics and the idea of a straight against a curve. So what I tend to see a lot of beginners do is I'll see a lot of curves against curves and then curves against curves and forms starting and stopping and then starting and stopping. So for example, if this was the upper arm, come down to the elbow, both of these arrive at the same point, and then they stop, and then the forearm starts. And what that tends to do is it gets rather visually uninteresting, and it almost looks like you've taken a balloon and just twisted off the limbs, right? You know, one of those long balloons. So we wanted an opportunity to bring more visual interest and dynamics to our drawing. So what actually tends to happen in the human body is there's a lot of overlap. So for example, the bicep comes down and it attaches to the radial bone of the forearm. So there's an overlap there. Same thing with the leg. The calf muscle actually attaches above the knee to the femur. So we have an opportunity for overlap. So getting away from this, what we have an opportunity for is doing something more like this. One of the advantages of this is it gives the eye an opportunity to travel through the form. Rhythmically more interesting, potentially has more dynamics. To take that idea one step further, we can put a curve against a straight. Now, what that straight will do is that straight will provide tension against the curve and an opportunity for even more dynamics. So let's have a look at the straight against a curve idea. We're just going to use a real simple concept. We're going to look at the leg from the side view. And I'm not going to get into a lot of anatomy right now. I just want to demonstrate and illustrate how straights and curves can be used together. So let's say we have a box for the pelvis, something like this. This will be the iliac crest coming around to the aces right here. And for the upper front part of the upper leg, I'm just going to use a curve, something like that. And for the calf, overlap that form coming down this way. Something like that. For the back of the leg at the top, I'm going to use a straight. And for the shin coming down to the foot, I'm going to use another straight. So this curve coming down this way is supported by this overlapping curve here and helps bring that rhythmical idea of the top curve through the form and down to the foot. In the same way that this straight here kind of works in conjunction with this straight to show that the leg is straight and helps with the overall design language of the form. Okay, so we've kept it real simple. We're not getting into a lot of detailed drawing, but let's just take this drawing one step further. So with that in mind, okay, then I'm just going to think a little bit about some of the anatomy just to try and bring some visual interest. So let's say we've got the gluteus maximus coming down this way, attaching up to something called the iliotibial tract coming down the leg this way. Then we've got the hamstring muscles, which are on the back of the leg here. Now they're actually attached to the pelvis up here, but we're obviously only going to see them from this point. So I just want to get a sense of this volume in here, something like that. And I'm going to move across to the front of the form. So starting off thinking about the leg muscles of the thigh and the upper leg here, coming down to the knee down here. Moving on down the form, the calf muscle, which is attached above the knee, which is here. So that calf muscle is going to come out this way, something like this. And then we're going to come down to the ankle and down to the foot. Moving across the form, the shin bone. So we're going to come down this way, something like this, and then down into our foot here. Bring in some of the mass of the calf in here. You can think about some of those straps coming down to the ankle down here. And we can think about some of the anatomy that's connecting the pelvis to the upper leg. Just in very loose terms. As I said, I don't want to get into a big anatomical discussion right now. We can also think about the stomach coming down this way and then meeting up with the pubic bone down here. So I've softened the straight against the curve. I still have my curve here, I still have my straight here, once again still have my curve here and my straight here. This obviously is not ruler straight, but it is very straight in comparison to what's going on this side. The same thing with the lower leg. So you'll notice also that the calf is connecting here to the upper leg and down here. Once again, trying to avoid the idea of things starting and stopping at the same place, and just trying to bring more visual interest and dynamics to the drawing. So something to keep in mind, look for opportunities to use straights and curves and overlapping forms in your drawing. I think you'll find it helps a lot. Till next time, take care, draw well, and I'll see you again.